That's the way we do it. Short, sweet, to the point. Time is important. Your time's important. So I want to be as thorough, and obviously we started off with having a larger crowd than I expected with the paper that we brought, but there's a reason for that. But first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Michael McFarland. I'm a graduate of Lamar University back, I'm a graduate back some time ago. And had the opportunity to play some sports here. That's not the claim to fame. I got a degree. That's the claim to fame, if you will. I've spent 25 plus years in the corporate world, building teams, training teams, understanding the team structure and organization. So I hope to impart some of that, to you today. One thing I'd like for you to do, if you have your cell phone, put it away, put it on silent. I know that's a hard thing to do. But that's the first rule that we have when we go into team meetings at our corporation. Don't be looking at your cell phone when the boss man's speaking. Got it? That's kind of the way it works. All right, so let's do a little group exercise. Anybody averse to exercise? We're all good? There won't be any heavy breathing or anything like that. It's real simple. Here's that piece of paper that I gave you. I'm going to use a little smaller version. Okay, everybody take your piece of paper, hold it up. If you don't have one, share with someone next to you, please. Okay. Group exercise. Fold it in half. What's that? Oh, fold it in half. All right? Now fold it in half again. Good? Now tear off the left-hand corner. Your left-hand corner. Tear it off. This is my left-hand corner. I tore that off. Hold on to your paper. I know the cleaning crew will get upset with us with all these little pieces of paper. But anyhow, we'll work on it. Now, tear off the right-hand corner. Fold it in half again. And this is where we're going to test your dexterity and your strength in your fingers. I know that many of you text at lightning speed, which means you have good digitary manipulative skills. So tear off the left-hand corner. Your left-hand corner. And then one more time, tear off that right-hand corner. You know, it's kind of like military, left, right, left, right. So, once everybody's done that, hey, does anybody remember doing this like in first or second grade? But you did it with scissors, right? We're going to open up your paper. Does yours look like this? I mean, pretty close, eh? Pretty close? Something like this? Oh, wow! An accordion. Okay. You're probably going, what does that have to do with team building? Anybody? Following direction. Were they clear? No. Not really? I didn't tell you how far on the left-hand corner to tweak it, or the right-hand corner. I didn't tell you whether it was long way, or was it the half or the 11-inch side. I didn't tell you any of that. However, we accomplished taking a sheet of paper and ripping holes in it. But you know what we did? Something really cool. We all did it together. I heard a little grumbling, heard some questions. But we achieved the goal, which is kind of what we're going to talk about in team building here. How many of you play on sports teams now? Anybody here play on a sports team? Whether it's collegiate or otherwise? Okay, we got a little group, all right? I think I'm the only one that broke a sweat on that thing. That's, whew. So successful team examples. And think about this, those of you who are playing teams, those of you who like team sports. What about reality TV shows? Anything, this is an interactive session. I am not going to speak for a full hour, so you will be talking to. Anybody, give me an idea of a reality TV show that you think exemplifies team work. What? Survivor. What else?
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. Tell us about Hard Knocks.
It's a documentary on the NFL team.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the behind the scenes. They talk dirty and stuff. They really tell you how they feel. Survivor, yeah, you see a lot of mind games going on there, right? What else? Anything else? What's that? Big Brother? Yeah, Big Brother's another team. Well, you start to find out who your team players are, right? So, how about Amazing Race? That's one that I thought of because when you partner up with that person, whether it's your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your favorite friend, your friend of another friend, it doesn't matter. You're now a team. And what does that team have to do to be successful? Work together. We're going to talk about working together. So Amazing Race, and then Survivor. That's a good one. How about sports? Oh, now, LSU's represented. What else? Team sports. Anybody? Who exemplifies the best teamwork?
The canoeing team.
Lamar? Oh, I gotta laugh. Wait, now, they did a great job this weekend. Came from behind, beat Northwestern. I happened to have somebody who was at that game tell me that, for a while there, the defense wasn't pulling their weight, but that's part of the team. But they stepped up and stopped them when it counted. I know, it's hard to believe, isn't it? University of Alabama has got one heck of a football team. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? The guy who's supporting LSU here. Nick Saban. Well, okay, so what? He's a coach. He's just like any other coach. Lou Holtz was a coach. Ray Woodard's a coach. So what? Big deal. Bill Gates is a coach. Mark Zuckerberg is a coach. Huh? Are these right? So big deal. We got Nick Saban over here in Alabama. What makes that team so darn good?
Recruiting.
Speak it up.
Recruiting.
Recruitment? Okay, what else? Huh? You guys have to talk louder because we have a lot of people. Team what? Team chemistry? Talent. Recruitment, talent, team chemistry. Need to hear something over here. Coaching. Where? Who's doing it? He's got full confidence in Lane Kiffin, his offensive coordinator. And if he don't like it, he'll tell him to his face on TV. If you didn't see that video clip, that was pretty strong. It's okay. But yes, coaching, team chemistry. What else? Teamwork. Like how? They rely on each other to do their own job. So that means as the wide receiver, for those of you that football, that's a person that stands by the sideline and catches those passes, one-handed or whatever. The wide receiver doesn't play linebacker. Okay? They play wide receiver and they play it to the best of their ability. University of Wisconsin. Now, I had some professional teams up there. I had to change them. Because really, when you think about it, they get paid. Right? They get paid. They get paid to act like that. These people in the sports world, and I'm talking about University of Connecticut, what? Field hockey team, right? The answer is no. Okay, what team am I talking about with the University of Connecticut? The what? Women's basketball. Any women's basketball players in here? Don't be shy. None. What can you tell me about Gino Auriemma and the University of Connecticut women's basketball? How many years have they won the NCAA championship? Like 5 or 6 in a row. Like, they get the pick of the best female college athletes for basketball. They're phenomenal. They're almost unstoppable. And when you talk to those ladies about his coaching ability, it's kind of like what you said about teamwork. Everybody knows their role. I know what I need to do, and I go out and I do my best to do that. So let's put all this into context and say, so what does it look like for businesses? I think Apple puts a pretty good team together. Corporately, they got a pretty good team. Why do I put Chick-fil-A up there? I mean, some of you, how many like Chick-fil-A? I look like I like Chick-fil-A. So, why Chick-fil-A? Yes, ma'am.
They have great customer service.
Good
Not only that,
gosh.
It's like everybody gets a week off, so I don't have to expect it because it's Sunday. Like everybody has a day off because of his Christian values.
Let me see if I have something for you, because that's pretty amazing. Do you work there?
Huh?
You work there?
See, I did, and that one day off was great. So, you know, it was nice.
Really? You did? That means you're doing something different. Well, we won't go into all that. All right, I'll dig into my bag of tricks here in a minute. But thank you so much for saying that, because that makes that company unique. It makes it a place where people want to go, and they appreciate their employees just as much as they appreciate the customers. That is a good team organization. So how does a team succeed? What makes teams succeed? Some of you talked about it when we were doing the Alabama and the University of Connecticut Survivor and those things, but you've got to have a commitment to common objectives. When we held up that piece of paper and we said we were going to tear it in half and do this, fold it in half and then tear a corner, we were doing it as a team. We had a little bit different outcome, but we did it as a team, and it was a common objective. Somebody talked about the coaches for Alabama. They have defined roles and responsibilities. Lane Kiffin is not going to go coach the defense. Although Alabama's defense does score quite a bit of touchdowns. So, think about it. I want to focus on that last one, the interpersonal relationships. You know, we came here this afternoon. Some of you know one another. I mean, these two guys were chatting it up about building something. I don't know what were y'all building or talking about? Architecture or?
Yeah, concrete house.
Concrete houses. Y'all, buds, pals, whatever, work together? Okay, cool. Well, I bet you, now I know, thank you for allowing me to work with you here. But let's think about this. That last bullet point, interpersonal or good personal relationships, interpersonal relationships. These two guys share a common interest, concrete houses, architecture. I bet their collaboration and their ability to put an action plan together, set some goals, get some financing, you guys could probably go out and build them, right? With success. Pretty good team. Think about that. All the stuff we talked about, and we have demonstration of it right here. So as we came together this afternoon, all of us from different walks of life, and got a ton of things on our plate and agendas, what have we done today, we've shared some paper with some people that didn't have it. My fault, but you helped out. We actually created one big team in here. And my goal at the end of this, and I'm going to share it with you, my goal at the end of today at 12:50, no, what? 1:30, 1:25, because we're not going to spend the whole time talking, is I want you to go out and you be a team player and you help other people drive their team. That's really the goal here. That's my goal. Understand what team dynamics are and how you can play a part. Because when you leave here, you're going to go get a job somewhere if you don't already have one, and you're going to be put on a team. That, whether you know it or not, you're part of the team. So how do we have an impact on that? Well, it's going to come down to team building and the morale. What do you think the morale is like for the Houston Astros right now? Anybody? What do you think team morale is like for the Houston Astros? Looking forward to next year, Coach. Man, I hope we get some good hitting or pitching or whatever. Gee, I hope I'm still on the team. Team morale depends on the coaching, the goal, the collaboration, the support, the motivation. If you're not happy doing what you're doing, what do you think the outcome's going to be? Anybody? What? It'll show. Yeah. If you're Apple or any company, and your team, your employees are not happy, what do you think your growth is going to be like? Not going to be much growth. What do you think your turnover is going to be like? Turnover, employment, hiring and firing. Going to be high. Let's face it. If you're not happy where you are, you go find some place to be happy, don't you? Whether it's a relationship, whether it's work, whether it's sitting here in this class, and it's okay. You want to go be happy somewhere else, I'm cool with that. But look, I'm trying to help you understand. That works all the way across the board. So teamwork skills. You see the first one, right? If I scrambled all those words up, what other word does it make? What other word can I create from that first word? It's kind of like one of those survivor puzzles. I gave you all the letters. Now you have to unscramble it. Silent. Perfect. Y'all were kind of silent in giving that answer, but silent is the word. Why is that key to listening? Yeah, you got to be quiet. We were given 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as we speak. Now, listening in teamwork, because who's usually barking the orders? Who? You know? Who's usually giving the instruction? The boss. Okay? And what if we're looking at our phones or not paying attention to the boss when they're giving us instruction? Are we listening? Not very well. I heard you. Is hearing, is saying I heard you, the same as listening? Huh? No? That's another hour's training on listening skills. No, we're not going to go there, but you get it. You have to pay attention. Active listening is head nodding, it's eye contact, it's body language. Let me take a note. Hey, I might want to write that down for future reference. That's good listening skills. Whether you're listening to the boss or listening to your significant other or partner, whatever the case may be, if you're just hearing them, that's different. So, ask questions. There was one question in our exercise when we started off our group exercise. Which way do I fold it? Well, you were given the choice which way to fold it. Persuasion. Oh my goodness, I had a conference call this morning that that sounded terrible. It invoked some persuasive skills that I needed to get somebody to understand that we need to rethink this objective. So don't be afraid as a team player to go, have we thought about it this way? Or instead of everybody working 40 hours a week, why don't we take Sundays off? Don't be afraid to say that. That's your role as a team player, is to give that person some feedback. Respect. Whoo, man. I hear a lot about that word today. What do you know about respect? What? Earn it. Come on. Just because you're sitting there, does that mean I got to respect that? Well, I do, but in your job, does somebody automatically get respect? I know the song, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, but you follow me? That's something you have to earn. You gotta put your place. You gotta define your place, wherever that is in work or on the team. You can't respect the player on the other side of the ball until they demonstrated their ability. Does this make sense? Yeah? Yeah, you gotta earn respect. Be helpful, help others. Again, we demonstrated that this when we started. And sharing, and what was that last one? Participation. I'm working really hard to get the participation today because you guys are evidently had your lunch, you're coming in, or you're thinking about lunch, so this is a really tough time. But it all revolves around working with others, using the technology. You can see the thing up there. So, team roles, the leader. What is the team leader? Or what is a leader?
One who takes initiative.
And don't say Nick Saban. Oh, what?
One who takes initiative.
One who takes initiative
and direct.
and directs. Okay? Takes initiative and directs. What's a leader? What's a leader? Brave, courage, okay? To put yourself in front of others, you have to be brave. To have courage to persevere and to try to get people to go along with those, yes, you have to have some courage. All good things. What else? Anybody?
Has to motivate.
Oh boy, motivation, team, right? Well, there's ways to motivate. How do you motivate? Kicking the rear end? Yes?
A leader sets the example. They're not just going to give you orders. They're going to let you watch them do it so you know how. Teach you.
Hey, that's beautiful. That's really good stuff. Because you know what's really cool? You said it, I didn't. You know, that last part, the subject matter expert, if you're going to be the leader of the rowing team, you might want to have some knowledge about rowing. All right? You don't just walk up one day and go, hey, I'm the captain of the rowing team, and we're all going to get in the boat. Right? No, that doesn't work that way. So, all right, what are the characteristics of a good leader? We missed this one, but it is important. We talked about it a few slides ago or a slide ago. They got to be a good listener. Respect others. Have a clear vision. But courage, bravery, understanding goals, all of those things make up a good leader. Can we, I usually don't like to, well, I'm not even going to bring a negative into that. That's not a good thing. Because I'm sure in our minds we could probably say, that person wasn't a very good leader. And I bet you could look at this list of things that we've all said and go, yeah, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, they surely didn't listen. It was their way or the highway. You know those types of folks? Their way or the highway? Yeah, well, do they make good leaders? How about delegation? How about that as a leadership quality? Now that doesn't mean dumping work on somebody else so theirs is easy. Although that might be what you're thinking, right?
If you delegate it, you don't have to do it all by yourself, right, either.
That's right. If you're gonna champion a project, does that mean you carry all 100 pounds of it? No.
You delegate it.
You delegate. You assemble your team. But what about delegation is it that you have to give some thought to? I've got a team of 5 people. What?
You gotta know your team.
Gotta know the team. Y'all been reading ahead. I think that's the next slide. What skills should a leader possess? We're going to talk about that. That's a good point. Open communication. You can read them there. Setting the example. How do we maintain healthy group dynamics? Boy, that sounds like a college phrase, doesn't it? Maintain healthy group dynamics. What does that look like, feel like? Anybody? What do you think that means? How many of you are a member of an organization, like a fraternity? Mr. Pike, right? Sorority? Yes? You're in one? What organization are you in?
BSA, ASA.
Top, what are those? BSA, ASA?
Black Student Association, African Student Association,
Okay.
National Association of Black Accountants.
Okay, cool. Now let's talk about organization. That's cool. What's healthy group dynamics for that group?
I feel like that means making sure everyone's on the same page. Like they're all focused and determined to get the same task done.
Oh, well, that's great. I like the way that sounds and feels. She's exactly right. I need to make sure that everybody is marching. We're all going in the same direction, feeling the same thing. Huh. But I'm leading. I'm president. I couldn't. Maybe I could lead that group. I don't know. Maybe you're leading that group. You're leading the groups. But you've got 2-3 people over here that they're not on board. They want to throw stones. They want to detract. They want their agenda heard. How are you going to handle that?
Communication.
What?
Communication.
How's that going to work?
Providing incentives.
What?
Providing incentives.
I need to incentivize them to be quiet and get on board. Really? Hey, do you know what? And I'm glad that you exchanged that with me. And please, everybody needs to understand, I'm not picking on anyone. I'm trying to get you to understand that in that scenario, this is real, and this can happen in your organization, in your workplace, at home. Oh, Lord, if it happens at home, you know somebody's going to be upset. That's usually mom, right? So, where I'm going with this is, There's some people on the team that might need to take a leave.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Just so I know.
Yeah. Because if the group can't get to their goal, their common goal, and I got 2 or 3 people over here that want to push their agenda, that's not the agenda of the group. Hey, thank you for your time. Appreciate you coming. Your membership is now revoked. You're not part of the team anymore. There's a rule in most, well, you'll hear it, but it's a rule that I live by. Coach them up or coach them out. I'll give you all the tools, skills, and ability, or all the tools and skills and motivation to help you be successful, but who's ultimately responsible for success? Who? You. That's right. Look in the mirror. Other team roles. The initiator, the recorder. And in your groups or organizations, everybody has a role, right? You got a president, you got a vice president. What else you got?
Treasurer.
Secretary, yeah, treasurer, what else? Okay. What's the initiator? What do you think they do? They initiate things. Hey, I make a motion that we stop talking and I'll go to Chick-fil-A. The recorder. I need to keep... I know I saved emails from like 5 years ago, but really, you got to have somebody that keeps everything on track. The skeptic, now that's the person that says, so what about this? Okay, I like that, but have we thought about this as a solution? Optimist, yeah, we're going to get there. The timekeeper is the one that says, if any of you were here, you guys were here while I was on that phone call, I know you weren't paying attention. It wasn't important. It just wasn't. But the thing is, if you don't establish a timeline, then we can talk for hours, right? Chase the tail, go around the world 5 times. But our bottom line is, if we don't set a time or establish an end time for this, you got to have somebody who's doing that. Oh, let me go back. What's a gatekeeper? What do you think a gatekeeper is for your team or organization?
Who controls the information?
Yep, they control the information. Some of our presidential candidates might need to learn something about that. I'm going to make that platform. So let's look at some personalities.
The sin of losing track of time. Locally, it's 1:56. That means we've got 3 hours and 4 minutes before the end of today's package sort. That's how long we have. That's how much time we have before this pulsating, accursed, relentless taskmaster tries to put us out of business.
Our fugitive has been on the run for 90 minutes. Average foot speed on the uneven ground, barring injuries, 4 miles an hour. That gives us a radius of 6 miles.
What happened?
Area. Checkpoints go up to 15 miles. Your fugitive's name is Dr. Richard Kimball. Go get him.
Ben, I do voices.
Yeah.
We come to this planet looking for intelligent life. We made a mistake.
We're happy to be in America. Don't ask for a green card.
You're the last one. Well, it's certainly a rough meeting, and it's not going very well for me, I'll tell you that. Hey, boss, give it a chance. She's going to loosen up any moment.
Look at me right now, Moneypenny. Once undo that bow and get to know you.
Wait a minute. Nancy and I are still looking for the other half of my head. I'm sitting on a gold mine. Don't make me smack her, sweetheart. I'll do it. I do a great impression of a hot dog.
we hit a couple of rays last night. Totally helpless.
Yeah, you seem a little hyper.
I had a couple rainbows. You ever had a rainbow? I never had a rainbow before, but I had a rainbow last night. I really like rainbow. I got a new necklace. It was in the dark. You can't really see it right now. I should do this.
That's really Does the rainbow make you cry pretty hard?
No. I don't think so. No. No. After we jog, we should get a Red Bull. You can get a Red Bull or I get a Red Bull. We can share a Red Bull.
Okay, that'd be really fun. That sounds good. If you get good. Okay, a lot of energy. I like it. Everybody, this is Carl. Carl, this is everybody.
Hey, everybody. Henry Weston. Named the Fibonacci series from its 11th to its 16th instant. 89, 144, 233, 377, 610. Perfect. The number 4, do we really need it? If you like squares, you do. Oh, I like squares. Good. Now, a hot dog to hot dog bun ratio. Why, for the love of mustard, are there never enough buns? Extra hot dogs. Yes, but why?
This afternoon, I want the singing tuna fish casserole, no pickle on the plate, well done French fries with melted Swiss cheese and gravy on their own plate, and Jim's special strawberry chocolate oasis pie. You got that?
I got that.
Annie? Annie, you're still doing it. I know. You have a problem with unexpressed anger.
Well, I know. You're absolutely right. You know, it's my, I don't know what it is. It's my mother. It's Connecticut. It's all these loud noises.
And Aaron?
Now, I know we're separated, but I think this is just really, it's like a rest period, Leslie. We're just kind of getting our...
Oh, do it, Annie. Get angry.
I couldn't. I know that I should, Leslie. I really do. It's just...
Hit me. Stand up.
No,
and hit me.
can't. Leslie, I'm so sorry. It's just, you know, maybe, I know what, maybe, next
Annie,
week.
let it out. I want you to hit me. Trust me. Come on. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
No dinner for you then.
Aw, gee whiz, that really hurts. I'm a real aficionado of death camp cuisine.
Look, as long as you're here, why don't you just pretend to be a guest?
You're probably going, well, why do we have to watch movie clips? So, why? Why is that important? Why do you think we watched about drivers, expressives, analyticals, and amiables? Anybody here taking a personality profile test? Raise your hands loud. Come on. Yeah. What'd you learn about yourself? You're an extrovert?
So it tells me like what kind of person I am and what kind of job I am in school.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Your strengths, your weaknesses, and what you need to work on, who you're more compatible with when it comes to characteristics.
Who I'm more compatible with and my characteristics. Yes, those are all good things. Knowing your personality is important. But let's say I want to be really good in business and be a leader. Follow this. I want to be the leader. I aspire to be that. I need to be able to identify personality. Yes? Because on my team, I'm going to have all of those people you see up here. I'm going to have them. But I've got to know how to communicate with them. What do you think communication to Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive, what do you think communicating to him is like? Anybody see that movie? Maybe not. What do you think that is? You heard how he talks. How did he talk? Huh? Very direct. We're going to cover every square mile of this county. We're going to go to every outhouse, doghouse, farmhouse, hen house. Right? I mean, he kind of went through every possible scenario that you need to look for. And he put a timeline on it. But how do you think somebody should talk to him? In the same way. Okay? You need to be direct. You need to have a timeline. You need to say, Tommy, we're going to get this done, and we're going to get it done in 2 hours. I need 5 people. I'm going to cover, everybody's going to have a role. I think he'd get it. Now, if you go in there with probablys and maybes and shoulda, woulda, coulda, well, that's probably not the best way to communicate to Tommy Lee Jones in that movie. But you saw some other shows. Now, Jim Carrey's not my favorite actor, but God, is he an extrovert or what? Nothing, I mean, he don't care. He acts silly all the time. And Robin Williams, if you know the man, the actor, he's played other roles besides just being a good impersonator. The point of all this is you need to know who you are, but you need to be able to identify other personalities. And the point about who you might be most compatible with, let's take a poll here. If I got driver expressive at the top, and analytical and amiable at the bottom. Driver expressive, analytical, amiable. Which ones do you think are most compatible? Yes, ma'am.
The driver and the analytical.
The driver and the analytical. Okay. Anybody? Anybody else? We can all get along with one another. See, that's the beauty of it. It's knowing where you are. But the ones that really attract is the driver amiable. That one that's counter opposite. What do we know about amiables? You saw it the last one. She said, hit me. And the lady went, okay. Somebody said, hit me. Well, I'm going to hit you, okay? And you'll remember that. But that was an open invitation for her to say, come on, get aggressive, be serious, let it out. But she couldn't. So the driver, the amiable, obviously the expressive and the analytical. That's kind of like the polar opposites. Those are the expressives. You saw what that looks like. And the analytical, the number crunching, analyze it, study it, extrovert, let's get in the car and go. Nobody said, where are we going? They just said, let's go. All right. Well, look, if you haven't taken a personality profile test, here's a couple of sites. The Kiersey, the Jones. You want to learn about yourself, but really you want to know about what makes you tick and how well you play with others, as they say. Two drivers in a room, somebody's going to get hurt. Okay? That's all I got to tell you. You can't have two people trying to run the show. Somebody's going to have to sit back and listen and go, okay, and just do it. Then what kind of personality are you attracted to? Now think about this. I asked this in the last session. In your circle of friends, in the people that you hang with on the weekends, during the week, maybe here at school, you've got drivers, amiables, and expressives, and analyticals, depending on where you are. You may have. What is the personality profile of most of the people you hang with? People like yourself. And if you really want, now, I'm not asking you to point fingers or anything, but I'm asking you to think about who's my closest friend? And why? Why are they? What's so funny? You getting it? Why are they my best friend? What kind of personality are they? And we might think about, am I the driver and they're the amiable? I say get in the car and they're first to get in the car. Maybe. maybe not. But think about that. Why is that? Why does that have an effect on group dynamics? We talked about group dynamics earlier about our organizations. I bet if Les Miles was still at LSU, it'd have a little different group dynamics, huh? Anybody seen this? So together, we're going to build a team. Together, everyone achieves more. So you go out and be a team player.